Track 'em Tigers just like beagles, give 'em hell you war damn Eagles, hey. This was written October 24th, 2014 by Amber Sutton on AL.com. The exact date that was first used is unknown. Throughout the years, Auburn's football program has proven to be a successful program in college football history. I'm 21 years old and played football most of my life and have been raised amongst strong alumni and fans since I was born. These things have instilled in me a love for all things Auburn, especially Auburn football. There are many well-known college football programs throughout the United States, but Auburn has proven to be one of the greatest of all time due to its past and continued strive for excellence. In order to prove that Auburn has a successful and well-structured program, I'm going to break it down into categories. The first will be the history, then I will follow with traditions throughout the years, and lastly, end with the most well-known players. Now, let's get to it and discuss all things Auburn football. The Tigers joined the Southeastern Conference in 1932 as one of the inaugural members and began competing in the West Division when the conference split in 1992. They have 12 undefeated seasons, 16 conference championships, 10 divisional championships, and 2 national championships. They have made 44 postseason bowl appearances, including 12 historically major bowl berths. This came from the Auburn Tigers website. It was written August 24th, 2020 by the Auburn University athletic staff. Today, Auburn competes in the football subdivision, FBS, of the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, in the West Division of the Southeastern Conference. In terms of winning percentage, Auburn ranks 15th as the most successful of all time, winning 63% of all games from 1869 to 2019. Some of their most common rivalries include Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and LSU on Ole Miss. If you're an Auburn fan of any sort, you will know how important the traditions are. For Auburn, the most celebrated tradition is the Tiger Walk. This occurs before every home game where thousands of fans line Donahoe Drive to cheer on the team as they walk from the AU Athletic Complex to Jordan-Hare Stadium. This started in 1950 and continues today and is also one of the most copied traditions in all of football. Another famous tradition is the Battle Cry War Eagle, and the most popular account involved the first Auburn football game in 1892 versus Georgia. In the stands, there was an old Civil War veteran. He had an eagle he found on the battlefield and kept as an injured pet. The eagle broke free and began to soar over the field, and Auburn began to march toward the Georgia end zone. The crowd began to chant War Eagle as the eagle soared. After Auburn won the game, the eagle sadly crashed to the field and died. But according to legend, he lives on every time an Auburn man or woman says War Eagle to each other. This was written in 1892 by an Auburn Civil War veteran. I found it on the Auburn University website. Toomer's Corner is another famous tradition celebrated by Auburn's fans. It's the intersection of Magnolia Avenue and College Street and is known as Toomer's Corner, named after the small drugstore on the corner. Hanging over the corner were 2 massive oak trees planted in 1937, and whenever there was a celebration, the trees would be found rolled with toilet paper. The most famous account of this was after Auburn upset number 2 Alabama in the 1972 Iron Bowl, when someone said, "We beat the number 2 out of Alabama." And until the mid-1990s, it was used for only athletic wins, but now it is used anytime there's a cause for celebration. With the rich history, the special traditions, and the players that helped make the program the way it is today, Auburn has a legacy that is one to remember. Some of these players include Pat Sullivan, who was the first Auburn quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy and broke continuous amounts of records at school and NCAA, passing and rushing. In 1970, he led the NCAA in total offense with 2,856 yards and set a record for the most yards per play. Another famous Auburn alumni and football player is Bo Jackson. He also won the Heisman Trophy. He was the first and only running back to win it. And he won the award when he ran for 4,303 career yards, 4th in SEC history to this day. And for his performance in 1985, he ended up winning the Heisman Trophy. This was written in 1985 by the Auburn University staff, and it was found on the Auburn Football website. The other quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy was Cam Newton, and he helped lead Auburn to their second national championship. He set the SEC record for yards rushing in a season by a quarterback that was previously held by Auburn quarterback Jimmy Seidel and stood for 40 years. In conclusion, with the history of the program and the tradition it carries and the most famous athletes that come with the program, Auburn has proven to be one of the most history-rich and successful football programs. From now on, if you hear the famous names Bo Jackson, Pat Sullivan, or Cam Newton, or hear the cry War Eagles, you may now know and recognize and see why Auburn University is a successful program for for hope now and hopefully for many years to come. War Eagle.